Hey guys, how's it going? Firebox here. I'm here to share with you a level 1 to 15 fighter guide to help you choose your perks, your skills, and the gear that you want to use while you're playing the game. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be rocking dual wield at level 1. I think action speed is debatably one of the, if not the most important side in the game. This is going to allow you to swing your weapon faster, which gives you more DPS in a fight. Really important. At level 5, I take sword mastery because it gives you action speed and weapon damage, which are both pretty solid. Technically, it gives you movement speed while defensive stancing, but we're not using this for blocking. We're using this for the purpose of taking Slayer Fighter, which we're going to grab at level 10, which gives us an additional 5 damage, but you can equip plate armor, which is perfectly fine for normals. And then at level 15, you're going to take Weapon Mastery, which is going to allow you to take certain pieces of gear that you can't normally take at the cost of some damage, but it's perfectly fine because of how good those weapons are for the build. And then for our skills, we're going to run Sprint and Adrenaline Rush. Adrenaline Rush is really good for the action speed. Gives you a little bit of movement speed bonus too. Really solid skill. Sprint is insanely strong, giving you 45 movement speed, allowing you to close the gap on other players. The only perk I would consider running other than Sprint and Adrenaline Rush is Breakthrough and Adrenaline Rush instead, because it stops and ignores the movement speed debuffs other players might have on you. For example, Achilles Strike from Barb, knockbacks on Sorcerer, knockbacks on Fireball from Wizard, the list goes on. So you could run Breakthrough or you can run Sprint, it's really up to you. But I think Adrenaline Rush is really important, especially when leveling up and playing in normals, which is where I primarily played to showcase this build. Before we get started going into the gear, I do want to mention that I do run Lizard Skin and Lycan Skin for this build. These do give you minor combat advantages in normals, so if you do own them, use either or. I think they're both fine. If you don't own them, then you're going to have to go to the Squire and then grab probably a white leather cap, probably this. That's probably the only one that I would consider using for Slayer Fighter, because pretty much every other helmet you can't use because they're all plate. So run this, but just know it is technically weaker. You're going to lose 3 movement speed and not get as much health versus the Lycan Skin, for example. But if you don't have it, you need a helmet piece, so just run leather cap, it's okay. Now, as far as the gear goes, I'm going to be running the Falchion with the Stiletto Dagger. The Stiletto is probably the best second-hand weapon you can use for this build. Even though it's not a fighter primary, it does give you armor penetration, and we're never going to be swinging the dagger anyway. We're going to be swinging the Falchion for this build. And with our build currently, we're getting 7 additional weapon damage and 15% action speed at base. This does not include our skills. So we're going to be swinging very fast and doing very high damage with a little bit of extra armor pen. For our secondary, I'm going to recommend the recurve bow. You can use the crossbow, and before you get weapon mastery, I would recommend using the crossbow. I don't think weapon mastery is good enough to run before you get your damage perks, but it is good enough to run for your 4th perk. And I really like having the continuous damage that the recurve offers. Then as far as the gear is concerned, you can really run whatever you want. Primarily stat speaking, I'm going to go for strength, vigor, agility, and dex. These are really the big 4 stats you're going for. Agility because movement speed is great, vigor because health is nice, any strike you can get is kind of okay because the Falchion scales decently with it. Dexterity because if you can get even more action speed, your build is just going to be even better. I think if you can get to like the 30-40% range with your skills, it feels really nice. By default, by the way, we're already at 30%, so anything extra to get us up to closer to 40 feels really nice. As far as normals is concerned, I like to get at least 120 HP, like 5% base action speed total, at least 300 movement speed, and then like 15 to 20% PDR. Anywhere in that range I think is okay. For my specific gear pieces, I'm running just a base light Akitan that's gray. This is just for the armor rating because otherwise we just have very low PDR. Using loose trousers because it gives us movement speed, but you could use cloth pants or padded leggings if you wanted. Using reinforced gloves because it gives us that health that we need. Again, trying to get above 120. Adventure boots because it gives you that base dexterity. I'm using 2 rings. Now the Ring of Resolve The will stat doesn't do anything, but the nice thing about the new gear rolls is even if the base stats are bad, if you can find a ring like this that gives 2 vigor and 2 physical power, this is really the equivalent of just having a vigor ring with some phys power on it. If you look at it like that, this is a perfectly fine item to use in dungeon. With Self-Found currently being in the game, you don't always have the option to choose the best gear and stats, so sometimes running something like this is perfectly acceptable. Also, the Badger Pendant, again, will is useless, but 3 agility and action speed. It's basically a purple agility pendant with action speed roll, which I would 100% take for this build. So just give you an idea, as long as you get those base stats of strength, vigor, agility, dex, any action speed, max health, movement speed rolls you can get, it's perfectly fine. The nice thing about Slayer Fighter, though, is you don't need a lot of gear to make this build work. You can really just run whatever the hell you want, and as long as you don't go too high into the gear score brackets, you're pretty good. Slayer Fighter kind of gets weaker the higher gear score you go, because the higher gear score you want PDR Fighter, not Slayer Fighter. But this is really good to learn the game and play low gear score to help you fight other players. So hopefully you enjoyed this guide. And if you want to see more content from me, be sure to like the video and let me know down below your thoughts. Thank you all, and enjoy the PvP. Catch you later. Well, that was a good hit. He used this PDR skill a little too early. Then he bonked the wall. I was looking for the Bard, but I don't know where he went. Did that guy full heal in that short period of time? It's kind of nuts. I guess he did. I got the first hit. Oh, he's dead. Should be dead unless I mess up. Yeah, I was gonna say. I got the first 2 hits, so it was just GG. Now, I will say, I am petrified being down here, because if a cleric comes down, and I have nowhere to kite, I think I just die. Like, can I ever kill a cleric? I think I just get stat checked by cleric if he comes down here. I don't know how I would kill him. He just pops his skills and I get stat checks for free. I feel like I'm jinxing myself right now. I feel like the cleric is coming straight to my location. Bear Druid too? Yeah, Bear Druid would also be pretty. Oh my god, oh my god, it's so beautiful. Oh shit. Oh fuck. Yes! 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 Oh, that was close. Okay. That was very close. Oh! That was close. That was one shot. Oh boy. Dude, Wizard's so scary. I thought I could out DPS him, but it was like by a wire. Oh man. That's why Breakthrough was so good against Barbs, by the way. For you to watch stream on YouTube or Twitch. You should watch it wherever works best for you. Bro. Oh my god, the freaking third parties. Bunch of scavengers. Holy god, man. Ooh, hello. Thank you for filling the roll for me. Appreciate it, buddy. Appreciate it.